everybody. I wanted to do a screencast of me presenting the early American Lit presentation for everybody who's online because I feel like hearing my voice and hearing me explain things will potentially limit your questions or clarify any confusion or issues you might have. So I promise to keep this under 10 minutes. That way you don't have to sit in front of the computer too long and you can actually get started on working on our activities. Also, I apologize if at any point you hear my laundry in the background. My dryer's been very noisy recently, so I hope you can't hear it, but if you do, I apologize. So the first really academic content we're going to be talking about in this class is early American literature. That goes along with Puritan and Native American literature. We are going to start with Puritan literature and then gradually make our way to Native American literature. We're going to read different examples from both, and then we're probably going to do a little bit of comparing and contrasting of Puritan and Native American literature at the end of the unit. So let's get started. Maybe here. There we go. So the first thing I wanted to do was ask you a question based on your own knowledge. I don't want you to Google this. I don't want you to talk to your friends about this question. This is purely your own thinking and your own opinion. So I want you to think to yourself, what do you think of when you think of early American literature? And I want you to explain why. This question is available in Canvas under our discussions. It's also an assignment that's listed in Canvas that has a little bit of direction on how to complete the discussion. But you do need to answer this question by September 2nd at midnight in order to receive points for this question. So it is a graded discussion question. But again, I don't want you Googling this or looking up examples of early American literature. This is purely what you know as of right now. So if you can list off, if you know any examples of early American literature, that's perfect. You can list off those. If you can think of any early American authors, feel free to list those. But just give me what you think of when you think of early American literature and give me a little bit of explanation why. Again, this is on Canvas in our discussions, and it is due by September 2nd. So I wanted to give you a brief timeline of early America because there was a lot of really historic events that happened during this time that shaped Puritan literature, that shaped early American authors, and that shaped Native American literature as well. So 1492, several hundred tribes all across North America. Majority of the Native Americans migrated from the Bering Strait land bridge 12,000 years before that. So they had been on this land forever. And then in 1619, unfortunately, slavery comes to America. 1620, the Mayflower landed. And this is really when the Puritans started forming their own section, started forming their own culture, and really tried to make something of themselves. They wanted to form something that showed their identity and really separated themselves from other people or from the British people. So this is really when Puritans started coming into their own. And then 1699, European colonies land on the eastern seaboard. So then 1720, also I apologize if these dates are cut off here. I don't think my screencast catches the full slide. So I apologize if it does cut off there. I will be posting this presentation on your Canvas page as well, so you're able to look at these dates. But the top one says 1720, the Great Awakening, Spiritual Awakening, the Enlightenment. The Puritans were really shocked by the Enlightenment because they were very, very religious. Religion was the foundation of their lifestyle and the way that they did things. So for people to value science and logic over faith in God was something that was really shocking to them. and they didn't quite understand it. They still put a lot of their faith and their belief into what they believed in, and a lot of their literature reflects that. 1774, First Continental Congress. A lot of people are starting to get frustrated with Britain at this point, and they kind of want to separate and become their own. 1775, Battles of Lexington and Concord. 1776, 13 colonies declared their independence. And then 1781, the British surrendered at Yorktown, and we have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So a lot of major historical events here in the timeline of early America. And again, you're really going to see this reflected in the literature at the time. A lot of these events were talked about in literature, but they were also expressed through many different perspectives. They were expressed through a Puritan perspective, through a Native American perspective, and through minority perspectives. There was a lot of different literature that reflected different thoughts at the time. So the next 3 slides are actually questions. And again, I want you to answer these questions to the best of your own knowledge and to express your ideas and your thoughts. So on Canvas, these next 3 questions are also in a discussion board, in a different discussion board. You can also find directions for it under assignments if you're a little bit confused on where to find these questions. These are not due until September 8th. However, I do suggest doing them as quickly as possible or at your earliest convenience, because they really will help you as we continue on through this unit and as we continue on through the next few lessons as well. I think it'll put your ideas in a good place of what our goals are to learn from this unit. So again, in your own words, what is the relationship between a place and literature? Explain your reasoning behind what your thoughts are on this as well. So give me a few sentences on what you think the relationship is between a place and literature. The next question, what do you think makes American literature American? And again, explain your rationale behind this. Explain your reasoning behind the answer that you give. And then your last question is, how do you think literature shapes or reflects society? This question, and honestly the other 2 as well, are really important for not only this unit, but for our entire year. Because we're going to look at how different literature in America and throughout different time periods has reflected society at that time, or has even shaped society for the future. And how people are able to express their perspectives and their ideas, and how crucial that is to really forming different culture and to really just express different perspectives as well. So again, this is totally coming from your own thoughts and your own ideas. I actually made it on Canvas so that you can't see anybody else's replies until you answer these questions for yourself, because I don't want you looking through everybody else's replies and gaining ideas from that. I really want to know what you think about each one of these questions. So again, these 3 questions are not due on Canvas until September 8th. However, the first question that I have in this presentation is due on Canvas in September 2nd. And all 4 of these questions are available in the discussions tab, and you can find details or instructions on this in the assignments for week 2. Please email me if you have any questions. Otherwise, this is it for this presentation, and I'm almost at 10 minutes, so I told you I wouldn't take it past 10 minutes. But thank you guys for watching. Again, please email me if you have any questions about anything.